Shalom.
Shalom.
This is a voice of a watchman here on the Sabbath. We do always praise and thank the Most High, Ahayah, bahashem, Yashayah, wa.
Scoot on, just a drop. All right, okay. Thank you. All praises, all praises, all praises for this awesome knowledge. Awesome. All praises to this understanding. Isn't that awesome, Josh? I know my son's got something tonight, and we want to ask you again from a pure spirit, a pure mind, that you send donations, please, to us at josh.lavio@gmail.com. Please send your donations to josh.lavio@gmail.com, and we sure appreciate it.
It's been another good week.
Real good week. And witnessing to people and living clean, eating clean. We're more dedicated this year than any year now, since we came into understanding in keeping the feast, you know, and we're looking forward more this year to September than we ever were, because you know, I don't know what to say. I want to say it right, but when you know the truth now, you have to forbear with these holidays. We can't take them. I hate them. I know what they're about. They're all about murder, every one of them. And go on our website and find out for yourself. Go to Holidays Exposed. Go to everyone. We have everyone exposed on there. And you'll see it's all about murder, even Thanksgiving. That holiday that you call so much that you're thankful and bring your family together, that's all fine. But that's not what it means, Thanksgiving. The origins are so much deeper than that, aren't they, Josh? Tony? Yeah. Much deeper than that. Memorial Day is about necromancy. It's about shooting guns off to the dead, praying to the dead when you don't, and I don't know who makes it. You don't know who makes heaven. You can't stand there, right? You can't sit there tonight and say, my parents made it. You can't say that because you don't know. On that day, right, when we face him face to face, eyeball to eyeball, toe to toe, then you'll see if you really served him or not. Because serving an idolatry white Christ in a Christian church, that's pretty heavy. That's pretty heavy. And I want to thank the Most High for opening the spirit of millions and millions and millions of people across this flat earth that come into understanding and truth, Joshua, in these last days. Christ said that this true word will be preached to the poor. The poor are going to have the word now, no one else. Then the end's going to come. So this word that we found out now, the understanding of the Bible, and not how, you know, religion teaches you. Because after almost 30 years in Christianity, I never heard the other scriptures. Why? Almost 30 years. I heard the same scriptures almost over and over again. You know, they would spread them out, right, Tony? But you would hear the same stuff all the time. Now, in 5 years, I've learned another 100, 200 scriptures, and maybe more, that I was never shown about who the most high's chosen people really are, and that this book is a black man's book. This book is not just a man of color. They'll run that in Christianity too. He's a God of color. You can say that all you want, but we know for a fact that Hebrews are black. They're dark, brown, black. They look black. Now, there are some light Hebrews, right, that are a little lighter, but most of them, Israelites, are black. So, but the white Christian church has a problem with that because they don't do their research. I want to read something tonight to you.
Hold on.
Yeah, all right. Go ahead, Josh. Yeah. Josh is going to take it. I'm just going to read a couple of scriptures. Go ahead, Josh. Where do you want to go?
Let's go to Romans. Romans 1.
Okay.
18.
Okay, Romans 1, 18. the guilt of mankind. For the wrath of Ahayah, or the Most High, is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness, people who don't keep the law, of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness.
So
go ahead,
these type of people, because of their unrighteousness, they hold the truth of God's existence to them down, and they put strongholds in the way of it. Read.
God, good. Because that which may be known of the Most High,
may be known, or knowledge, the way you may have knowledge of God,
is manifest in them. So
the first proof of God, go to 1 Thessalonians 5:25.
1 Thessalonians 5:25.
Is manifest in them. Right?
That's right.
1 Thessalonians 5:25.
Okay, 1 Thessalonians 5:25, Josh? Is that right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait. First Thessalonians 5:23.
All right. 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 23. Verse 23. That's when he goes to
5:23.
Okay, I got it. Ready? All right, I got it, Josh. And the very power of peace sanctify you wholly. And I pray the Most High, your whole spirit and soul and body be preserved blameless.
Your whole what?
Your whole spirit and soul and body be preserved blameless unto the coming of our Yashayah Christ. Faithful is he that calleth you, who also will do it.
Right. So I went there to show you that we are a three-part creation. We have a soul that lives, we are a spirit which lives in a soul that is housed in a body. Right? So the things that may be known of God that are manifest in them is that every person has a soul, a spirit, and a body, whether you believe it or not. Read. Go back to Romans.
Okay, now back to Romans. Okay, now we're in
one, I think. But didn't you finish 19?
Start verse 19 over.
Okay, 19. All right. Romans 1:19.
That's personal knowledge. Read.
Because that which may be known of the Most High is manifest in them.
So how he showed this to us through giving us a soul, a spirit. He said that he may keep your spirit, your soul, and your body. For
the Most High has shown it unto them.
Now, what are these three things?
Had showed.
Okay. Right. The spirit is the electricity, like when you plug a plug into an electrical outlet and turn a light on. That's what our spirit is. The spirit is the electricity that makes us live. Our soul contains our mind, our spirit, our emotions, our logic, our reason, our rational faculties, our moral compass.
None of that comes from your heart that pumps blood. None of that. So stop believing that. Because that which may be known of the Most High is manifest in them, for Ahayah has showed it unto them. For the invisible, remember what I told you today? For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen.
The invisible things.
Invisible, not things you can see.
Now.
Awesome, that's good, Josh.
This is a very good book.
Close, you can't see it. No, yeah. No, right there, right there. Right there, Josh. Okay. Call the name so they should see it.
It's
yeah. Give them the name of the book. We have met atheists in our journeys, and they're really lost people. They really are, and you got to really treat them with kitten gloves. I mean, you just got to, you have to be really careful what they say, because they can allure you to making them think the way they think. Okay.
So, and read that verse. Start that verse over.
Again, 19. Because that which may be known of the Most High is manifest in them.
Right. So, verse 20.
All right. For the invisible things of him from the creation.
What are these invisible things?
That's good.
The invisible things are referring to our spirit, our soul.
Come on.
And basically things that you can't physically see or test.
That's right.
So, and you don't grow into these certain attributes of your personhood. Personhood, although that is not in a word in the Bible, we all individually have our own personhood. We have value as people. And a lot of times, and I'm going to probably bring a couple, once I actually, as I'm reading this, I'm going to bring some topics.
Yeah, right there. You can see it good right there like that, Josh.
Bring some.
Go like that to the side. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, give me Josh. Yeah, talk, Josh. Talk, Josh. Okay.
So what I'm going to do.
Wait, I want to show them. Okay, talk. There you go. Okay, Josh. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll hold it up for you. It's all right.
Now, although
we're a team here, so
although I'm not a Christian, I will say this. So the invisible things that may be seen of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen and understood. Read.
That's awesome, Josh. I wanted to add something to that. That's great. Okay. What we said today, you see a building, but you know a body, mind, and soul made that. Okay. By the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead. Oh, wait. Okay. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made.
We have three levels of evidence. We have inward knowledge. We have intangible value, or that is invisible, like reason, morality, rationality, and even good and evil. All these things, love and all those other things, are intangible, invisible traits that are invisible, and we also have creation. We have three forms of evidence, biblical, we have three forms of evidence that point to a God for creating the earth. Now, when you are dealing with a person who does not necessarily believe in God, the Bible is not what you run to immediately, because they're not going to accept what's in they're not going to accept the Bible. So philosophically speaking, you have to reason with them to get them to see why it is necessary for them to believe, why it is necessary for God to exist. And not to spend too much time on this, but because this isn't my topic for tonight, I'll just throw this out there. One of the strongest evidences. Now again, the initial point of either one of if any of the debate, either the initial point of God's existence or his non-existence cannot be proven. So it is irrational to say you can prove that God exists with the Bible physically, because that is a scientific question. And the Bible does not deal with science, nor can an evolutionist or an atheist say God does not exist, because your science you cannot test intangible or invisible things. That's with right. Material. So you can't look into heaven and see where God is. You can examine the heavens, but you can't find God. Right? So one of the strongest arguments, actually, I'll just read something right fast. This is on page 31 in the book in Stealing from God. This is called the laws of non-contradiction, and it reads, the laws of non-contradiction, which says the opposite ideas cannot both be true at the same time, in the same sense, is one of the fundamental laws of logic, despite using the law of the okay, so let me read that statement again. The laws of non-contradiction state, which states the opposite ideas cannot both be true at the same time, in the same sense. So let me give you an example. If I say if I'm right here, but I say I'm in New York, I can't say that, because that's contradiction, because that's right. I'm not in New York, I'm right here. So, or you can't say that, okay, the way we logic, the way we think, the reason that works the way it does is because now, if you, again, which nobody can prove, that God does not exist with science, or you can't prove it, that is a philosophical argument of faith, right? Mm-hmm. So whenever someone brings that up, and they get out of science by saying, how do you know, can you prove God's existence? Well, I would say to them, what do you actually mean by prove? Because you can't prove that he does not exist, and I can't show you him scientifically. So as soon as that happens, that person is out of science into philosophy. Okay? One of the greatest ways that you can know that God exists is logic, right? The laws of logic are intangible. All right? You can't scientifically prove why logic is necessary, but you know it is necessary for people to understand each other. Logic cannot evolve from nothing. Logic must come from something. Now, God does not have to exist to give logic reason, a reason of existence, but God must exist for logic to have value in any way of life. Let me say that again. God does not have to exist in any way for anything to have value, but God must exist for those things to actually mean something. All right? So, if you believe that if you are a skeptic or an atheist, and you believe that things evolve, you have to admit that your mind is a collection of chemicals and atoms, and therefore you cannot trust what your mind tells you consistently, because your mind is always in flux. You cannot trust what your mind tells you on a consistent basis. If you believe that you are a highly evolved ape, you cannot trust what your mind tells you, because you're not going to trust a monkey's mind to tell you the truth. The reason that reason works is because it was designed to work the way it does. Right? Reason does not work by chance.
That's right.
Actually, nothing can work by chance.
That's right.
And one of the other reasons is the conscience, or one of the consciousness faculties of morality. Morality cannot exist. Morality can exist if God does not exist, but morality will have no reason of existence without God's existence. Let me say that again. Morality can exist without God, but for it to mean anything, God must exist. Now, you may think those are contradictory or circular reasoning, but it's not, because I'm admitting that God cannot exist for something. That one thing existing does not depend on his existence, but for it to have a reasonable meaning and value, God has to exist for it to mean something.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and we go to Mark 7. We're going to minister from that. I'm just going to finish what I'm saying.
Yeah, don't take too long if you got something else, Josh. Right? We got something else to go with. Okay. Mark 7? Okay. You could bring that message sometime. You can bring the whole message on that. All right, Mark 7 where, brother? Oh, 6? Mark 7:6.
No, Mark's. We're gonna start at the top.
Okay. All right. The book of Mark, chapter 7. Then came together unto him the Pharisees and certain of the scribes, which came from Jerusalem. And when they saw some of his disciples eat bread with defiled, hands,
So
that is
okay,
to say, with unwashed hands, they found fault. For the Pharisees and all the Jews, except they wash their hands often, eat not, holding the tradition of the elders. And when they come from the market, except they wash, they eat not. And
so the Pharisees had a problem that Christ's disciples were eating with dirty hands from the field. Read.
And when they come from the market, except they wash, they eat not, and many other things there be, which they have received to hold, as the washing of cups and pots, brazen vessels, and tables. Then the Pharisees and scribes asked Yashayah, why walk not thy disciples according to the tradition of the elders?
So it was a tradition that the elder. Now, of course, it is etiquette to wash your hands. That's not the point. They were requiring people as a statute of righteousness and holiness,
Right.
to come in and wash their hands. That became a ritual of holiness.
That's right. That's right.
It doesn't make you holy if you eat with dirty hands. So, and plus you
mean with
can't
clean hands. Yeah.
you can't really clean your flesh completely clean anyway.
Right. That's right. Okay.
So the Pharisees had a problem with Christ and the disciples eating not after the way the elders religiously made them. Read.
Why walk not thy disciples according to the tradition of the elders, and eat bread with unwashed hands?
Right. Read.
He answered and said unto them, well hath Isaiah prophesied of you hypocrites, as it is written, this people honoreth me with their lips.
So people that follow traditions of men honor God with their lips. In other words, they only honor God based on what they're told.
That's right. But their heart, their mind is far from me.
But their minds are not really on the things they should be on.
That's right. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines of the commandments of men.
So
that's good. Go ahead, Josh. You lost him.
So they teach for doctrines the commandments of men. In religion, they teach you to forsake God's laws and follow man-made traditions.
That's right. Just like the church today. That's right.
So they'll tell you, don't keep the Sabbath,
right,
but follow Sunday worship.
Right.
They'll tell you, eat
don't
anything
keep the feast,
you want,
but keep Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Right. So they just replace the righteous laws with man-made laws.
They sure do. For laying aside the commandment.
So for laying aside the things we should be doing, the holy days,
that's right,
the commandments, the laying aside the dietary laws. God did not create all things to be consumed by people.
That's right.
God created certain animals for us to eat, and he created other animals to be disposal or garbage eaters.
Or to enjoy.
And he doesn't want you to eat an animal that is designed to eat garbage.
That's right. Good.
Because he doesn't want you consuming things that are unhealthy for you.
That's right.
And I'm not saying that that's why he said he made the dietary law because these animals are clean like that. He just said that for that reason. Now, of course, we can come up with other reasons that. Hold on, Dad. See something.
Yeah, go ahead. It's all right. Yeah, see, this is a big contradiction in the Christian church today. You know, they'll even tell you to tithe. And they say the law is done away with, but tithing's the law. See, the real tithing is only about, awesome, Tony, food, right?
Yeah.
Grain, dairy, produce, cream, milk, you know, anything that's grown from the ground or from animals. The Levites would accept those gifts as a tithe. And then when they would leave the storehouse, they would receive money. Now, you don't see that in the Christian church. They ask for tithes and you walk away empty, trusting the white Jesus to bless you.
Right.
And to make you rich. It's not going to happen.
Read that, start that verse over.
For laying aside the commandment of Ahayah.
So people lay aside, like we said, we lay aside the commandments of God.
Mm-hmm.
Read.
Ye hold the tradition of men, as the washing of pots and cups and many other such like things you do.
Read.
And he said unto them, full well ye reject the commandment of the Most High, that ye may keep your own tradition.
Your own what?
Your own tradition.
So people lay aside what the Bible teaches and what we should actually follow so they can do what they want to do. They can keep their own traditions.
If you're listening tonight, Christians, you are doing that. You know you're doing it.
You can't show me Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter in the Bible. Where the apostles, you can't show me birthdays in the Bible.
Come on.
I can show you where pagans, like the Romans, celebrated birthdays, but no Israelite in the Bible.
That's right. No Hebrews
recorded birthdays, because that is a pagan tradition.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to honor your birth.
Balloons outside the house. Happy birthday.
This is good. Keep reading.
All right. And he said unto him, full well ye reject the commandment of the Most High, that ye may keep your own tradition. For Moses said, honor thy father and thy mother. Oh, no, that's it. Yeah, you don't want to go into this. It's not about this.
Read.
Is it? Whoso curseth father or mother, let him die the death.
So he was saying that according to the law, now remind you, under the theocracy of Israel in the Old Testament, if a child rebelled, they didn't have juvenile centers. They didn't have prisons. They didn't have police. Under the Old Testament, the law was their police and judge.
Mm-hmm.
So under the Old Testament, if a child would rebel, like literally, they were supposed to be put to death. That's how strict they were on parents, the honoring of the parents. And children understood that if they rebelled, they could be put to death. Now, we don't do that today because we don't live under a theocracy. A theocracy meaning theo meaning God, and ocracy is a type of government. So a theocracy is a government that is ruled by a religious, a spiritual or religious law. We are not in a theocracy. We will be in the kingdom. Right?
Wow, that's right.
So actually start that whole statement over.
Honor thy father and thy mother.
Right. So we're supposed to do that. Read.
Whoso curseth father or mother, let him die the death.
Let him do what?
Let him die the death.
So if you under the old covenant, right? Mm-hmm. We're not talking, this is not saying that you can kill your children today. This is an old covenant. Christ is quoting something from the old law, right?
Right.
He's saying, under the old covenant, if your children rebelled against you, they have to die. Right?
That's right.
They must die to death. Continue.
But ye say, if a man shall say to his father or mother, it is Corban, that is to say, a gift, by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me, he shall be free.
So basically,
yeah, you can do what you want.
You were saying to these children, as long as you give the temple money or the priest money, he can get away with dishonoring his parents.
Wow.
Read.
And ye suffer him to no more do aught for his father or his mother.
Right.
Making the word of the Most High of none effect through your traditions.
So you make the laws of God through your traditions of none effect. Now, read.
Which ye have delivered, and many such like things you do.
Read.
And when he had called all the people unto him, he said unto them, hearken unto me, every one of you, and understand it. There is nothing from without a man, that entering into him.
Go back into the start of that verse.
And when he had called all the people unto him, he said unto them, hearken unto me, every one of you. He said, in other words, listen and understand. Now, pay attention.
This is a type of parable.
Right. There is nothing from without.
So there's nothing outside of you.
A man that entering into him can defile him.
Now, he's not talking about food. Now, this is what verse are you on?
14.
This is Mark 7 and 14, right?
Oh, 15, sorry.
15, right?
15, Josh.
So this is another part of the scriptures that pastors and theologians will try to bring up to say you can eat whatever you want.
Oh, wow. Good.
So
preach it, Josh.
There is nothing that is entering a man that defiles him. Read.
Wow. But the things which come out of him.
Now,
those are the
out
things
of him is not talking about food. And it should be obvious.
Wow.
What it is actually talking about.
That's right. Come on.
Read.
Those are they that defile the man. 16. If any man have ears to hear, let him hear.
Right.
Church can't. And when he was entered into the house from the people, his disciples asked him concerning the parable. 18. And he saith unto them, are ye so without understanding? Also,
read.
Do you not perceive? Don't you understand? That whatsoever thing from without entereth into the man, it cannot defile him. Because, 19, because it entereth not into his mind or his heart, but into the belly.
So the things that Christ was talking about were thoughts. They were not food. Awesome. He was speaking about spiritual things.
Come on.
Like, read.
Because it entereth not into his heart, but into the belly, and goeth out into the draught.
Read.
Purging all meats. And he said, that which cometh out of the man that defiled the man, for from within, out of the mind of men, proceeded evil thoughts.
So now he's explaining the parable of what he was saying. From what comes out of a man are evil thoughts. Read.
Adulteries.
Read.
That can't come from the heart. Fornications.
Read.
Murders. Thefts. Covetousness. Wickedness. Deceit. Lasciviousness. An evil eye. Deuteronomy. Blasphemy. Pride. Foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile the man.
So clearly in Mark 7 and 15, Christ was not talking about eating a pork chop. He was speaking about evil intentions and things that we think about.
Oh, he understands my heart. No, he understands your mind. And your mind can control the things that go into your spirit and soul. If you let it defile you. Okay, keep going. To Sophrosyrian woman's faith. I think I'm saying it right.
Sophronician.
Okay. And from thence he arose and went into the borders of Tyre and Sidon, and entered into a house, and would have no man know it, but he would not be hid. But he could not be hid. For a certain woman whose young daughter had an unclean spirit heard of him and came and fell at his feet. 26. The woman was a Greek.
Was a what?
A Greek.
Now, this woman would have been considered today a white person.
How do you say the name? A what?
Syrophoenician.
A Syrophoenician by nation. And she brought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter. But Yashayah said unto her, let the children first be filled, for it is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it unto the dogs.
So he was saying, it's not meet for me to deal with a Gentile right now. I'm dealing with the children of Israel.
That's right. And she answered and said unto him, yes, Most High, yet Yashayah, yet the dogs under the table eat of the children's crumbs. And he said unto her, for this saying, go thy way, the devil is gone out of thy daughter. Wow. And when she was come to her house.
Now let's read about the same thing in Matthew 15. Hold that and go to Matthew 15. I'm going to give you the same precept.
Now you see the difference in the miracles of Christ and the way what they're doing in the church today, yelling, come out in the name of. He had a reason and a purpose for every person he touched. Okay, what is it, Josh?
Matthew 15.
Okay, Matthew 15. Where, Josh? In the beginning?
24, I think. Start with 24.
All right. Matthew 15:24. But he answered and said, I am not sent.
Wait, jump up to verse 23.
All right, 23. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she cried after us.
Read.
But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel, the Hebrews.
About who?
Of Israel, the Israelites.
So Christ was saying that he was not sent at that time to anyone else but the children of Israel.
Okay. Want me to keep reading? Or go back?
Keep reading them. I'll tell you.
Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Yashayah, help me. But he answered and said, it is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to dogs.
Again, the children's bread is the children of Israel. The bread is the word. The children are the Israelites.
That's right.
And the dogs are the Gentile nations.
Wow. And she said, true. Yet Yashayah, let the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table.
So he was saying even the dogs or the Gentiles will get the word eventually.
Right. And she said, true. Yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from. 28. Then Yashayah answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt.
Go back. Same precept.
Where were we now? Mark. We're in Mark, right?
7.
7. What verse were we in, Tony? Oh, here.
30, I think.
Was it 30?
I think, yeah.
30, okay. And when she was come to her house, she found the devil gone out, and her daughter laid upon the bed.
Read.
And again, departing from the coast of Tyre and Sidon, he came unto the Sea of Galilee, through the midst of the coast of Decapolis. And they bring unto him one that was deaf, and had an impediment in his speech. And they beseeched him to put his hand upon him. And he took him aside from the multitude, and put his fingers into his ears. And he spit, and touched his tongue. And looking up to heaven, he sighed, and said unto him, Ephrathia, that is, be open. And straightway his ears were opened, and the string of his tongue was loosed, and he spake plain. And he charged them that they should tell no man, but the more he charged them, so much the more a great deal they published. Amen.
So, again, this is another parable or example of him healing
These people.
They're deaf, they're spiritually blind and deaf.
Tell them, Josh. That's right. And I want to say this in love to you. Most of you are lost in the Christian church that don't belong there. That's why you don't understand the word. And were beyond measure astonished, saying, He hath done all things well. He maketh both the deaf to hear and the dumb to speak. That's awesome. That is really awesome. You see, we miss a lot of things because the religious people of today don't have understanding. And I want to say this in kindness and love to you today, that this is not for everyone either. But if you're looking, the word says, those who seek and hunger, Tony, right, for righteousness are going to be filled. So if you're in a ministry somewhere and you're really seeking truth, keep listening to us, listen to other camps that are telling the truth. I would advise you tonight to be careful with some of the other camps. We're not a camp, but we're warning you tonight that there's a lot of camps that are teaching heresy. There's a lot of them out there that are not teaching the truth, using all kinds of words about the Most High's name. The Most High, the word says, our God, I'll use the word God. We don't use the word God because it was put in the Bible. Our God is one God. One God. And he created Christ and the Holy Spirit. The white Christ that the Christian church worships today was made up by Rome. Rome took the black Christ out of the way and brought in this Caesarea Borgia and made havoc of the world. I know that's hard for you to understand because you've been in Christianity all your life. So are we. So was I. But if you're willing to hear truth, you will come out. You will come out. That's it. You want to talk? You want to talk a while or say something? I was going to read something tonight. Next time, tomorrow night, I want to read something to our listeners. I'm going to show you the contrast. Only in 5 minutes I need, Josh, not even. The contrast of how Paul really lived. And I get so discouraged when I hear these pastors say they're like Paul. They're not nothing like Paul. Paul never asked for a stage, not a stage where he had to be popular. Yeah, he asked for audience, but not to be popular. Not to have great big crowds follow him like today. No, Paul was just the opposite of that. And I'm going to read that to you tomorrow night too. It's only going to take about 5 minutes to read. And I want you to listen real close to it because it's going to bless you. We are really blessed to be here another Sabbath. And we can't thank the Most High. We can't thank him enough. We're hoping by next month, not this month, but July, Well, this is June now, right? All right, July, hopefully, sometime in early July, like the first week, we're going to have maybe a hall right where we live where we can open up a Sabbath night once a month, to start once a month. But we have it every Friday and Saturday and Wednesday night here in our home. So get in touch with us. You're welcome to come here. You're welcome to learn the word with us. If you want to come and be part of this ministry, please do so.
Mhm.
Because I'm being told, Josh too, we're being told that time's running out. And even Christians are telling me now that they've been lied to, Josh. They're saying the same thing that I said. I don't know what would have happened to me. I'm telling you, if I didn't have this friend in Cleveland and told me that, I was very angry because I didn't see this, how the church lied to me and all these false doctrines. And my friend, Hernando told me, Brother Pat, it wasn't your time. That's all. The Most High had a plan for you later on in your life. But I got over that because I had to, But we're not mad at any pastor. We're not angry at any Christian church. And I believe there are pastors that are listening to us. And I believe they're starting to believe what we're telling them. You can't make it without the law and Christ. He made a perfect blend of it in Matthew 17, right? 5:17.
Uh-huh.
He made a perfect blend of it.
Uh-huh.
Because, right, Josh, only the law can cut you open. Only the law can show you what you really are. It even says in Psalms, right? What confirms man? What really says a man, Josh? I forgot what the scripture is. We'll have it tomorrow night. But to come out of religion it's a tough thing. It is, because it's an evil spirit on people that are caught up in this religion, Christianity and Muslims too, Buddha. You all have the Trinity, all lies. You all have certain doctrines. Catholic Church, whether you want to believe it or not, they own all the Christian churches, every one of them, every one of them. You might be calling yourself something today, but if you'll believe it in their doctrines, and you are, and they're in the Christian church, you're Catholic. You might be saying that right now, oh no, we're Baptist. No, you're Catholic. Until you see the truth, you remain Catholic.
Uh-huh.
Now I heard this from a Baptist church, and I was happy. I was. This is a while back. This pastor told me tongues are done away with a long time ago. He was right. He was right. And it took me time to see it, Josh, Because at Pentecost, they came from all over the world, the flat earth, to come to Jerusalem at the day of Pentecost. And they all spoke a different language. It wasn't like in the church, that line, that's not tongues. This was a language that they could reach another person, right, Tony? From another part of the country. Didn't he say, are these all mad? Are they drinking?
Mm-hmm.
How do they know that they're talking in another language?
Mm-hmm.
And there's even pastors that will get mad if I tell them right now, there are no apostles. They're done away with. There were only 12 apostles, and they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
You can sit there and lie all you want, pastor, and tell your church you're an apostle. You're an apostle, not apostle.
Mm-hmm.
You better get in the word, and you better read it right.
Mm-hmm.
It's all done away with. In sundry times, the Most High used the prophets, right? But now, in these last days,
He's spoken to us through his son.
And who's the Holy Spirit? She's a woman. She's feminine gender. So, you want to say anything else, Josh?
Mm-mm.
We love you. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.